YouTube tells me that I'm live. It's one of those stupid dad jokes where I'm like, sometimes I need to be reminded that I am. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys a little technique I use at times to enhance my handle material. And one of those handle materials that I use is purple heartwood. And this can vary from kind of light purple with some browns to some really dark purple. And I'm going to show you the technique I use to do that. Now, first of all, make sure you're not wearing anything flammable. Now, be smart about it. We're using fire, we're using heat. You can use a heat gun, but we need to be cautious about this. Cheyenne's going to sit over here and make fun of me while I do this. So guys, here we go. This is definitely a non-flame retardant material, but I'm going to be wearing it anyway because it's getting kind of cool in here this evening. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button, or at least do it before you completely get off YouTube here. A couple things you're going to need, at least what I'm going to use. I need a heat source. That's going to be my handy dandy little propane torch right there. So I guess I need something to light it with. I also need some wood that has been oiled. Now I put linseed oil on this, boiled linseed oil. This is bloodwood, and give you an idea what it looks like dry. It's generally kind of an orangish red color. You can see how much that's enhanced. And then so far what I've got with my purple heart, that purple's really coming out. But if you look closely, you may notice that there are some kind of light yellowish areas in there. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I want it to be a little darker. And I think I can do a little bit with the bloodwood here just because. Now, I polish these down. You know what you don't want with a knife handle? You don't want a slick knife handle. Whether it's a pocket knife and where you maybe got some ridges, you've got some texture, you don't want to slip. And on a camp knife or a sheath knife, you really don't want to be slipping. So I polished it down, I sanded it down, took it to a surface conditioning belt on my 2x72, and that made it really slick. Well, then I went ahead and I oiled this up, which makes it even slicker because it's got oil on it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enhance the grain, and I'm going to explain how that happens. But first, I'm going to go get some paper towels. Because I am going to be removing some excess oil at some point. First thing is first. Light my torch and be cautious about it. And also do not leave oily rags around your shop or anywhere because it's just not a good idea. Spontaneous combustion is a terrible thing that costs a lot of money. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some room. Make sure you got plenty of room here. And I'm going to take my torch on a relatively low setting, and I'm going to start heating my handle material. Now, in doing so, I've already noticed that there are some bubbles coming up through the oil, and that means that the oil is displacing the airspace in the handle material. So what did I just say? That means that the oil's soaking into the wood and the air is coming out of it. So I'm just going to do this slowly, and I'm doing this lightly because if I do this too fast, one, it's going to burn my handle material, and I don't really want to burn this handle material. There are times that I want to burn handle material because it looks really cool. And if Cheyenne had her tomahawk handy, she could show you how she does some pattern burns on tomahawk handles. But I guarantee you her tomahawk has lots of dirt on it because we were mushroom hunting yesterday.
It's upstairs.
It's upstairs. It's an upstairs tomahawk.
Well, I gotta fight off the Decepticons.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
never know when the microwave's gonna turn into a robot or something.
Yeah, I guess it could happen. All right, so what I'm doing, I'm just going over the areas that are lighter colored, and I'm applying a little bit of heat. And you can maybe see how that's raising the grain as well. Now, I oiled the wood prior to doing this, and I'm going to apply some more because whether that oil's running off or burning off or whatever it may or may not be doing, I don't want the wood to crack. And that is something that can happen. And if that wood cracks, then you've got a problem you got to fix. All right. So I'm going to let that sit for a moment and maybe soak up some of that oil. Okay. So I've got a much darker purple heartwood handle now. Now look at the bloodwood. I mean, honestly, if I hadn't smoothed this handle down so much, I probably wouldn't be doing this. But I want to raise that grain just a bit so that I have a little better grip. And it might look kind of cool too if I do it right. Am I going to do it right? Well, you guys don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, so I'm going to go with yes. However this turns out, I must have done it right. Kind of like if nobody knows a song and you mess up, did you really mess up? Did they notice? And I'm just moving this back and forth. Now, I have had bloodwood get too dry, like in a home with a wood stove, and I've had it crack, and that is not cool at all because it was actually a big sax I had made, and you don't want to destroy your work by any means. And I'll tell you what, before I started applying heat here, I really, really liked my coloration. And I really liked the way it looked. But what I didn't like about the way it felt was I was like, if I was going to use that in an outdoor situation, as I probably would with a knife, that could be not a really great feature to have. Okay. So now put just a little more. I'm just going to spread the oil out a little more. Some of that got a little dry. And I'm going to set this down. Now, I guess I can go ahead and turn this off for now. Can light it again if needed. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here with my purple heartwood. And this was polished down pretty decent. And that has definitely raised the grain. That also adds to kind of the rustic aspect of it. Being a camp knife, I would think outdoor. Is there indoor camping? I suppose. But as far as outdoor use goes, I think that adds to it. And also having that oil in there, that's going to help with maintaining a moisture content, especially in drier weather. And that is one thing I will say, that if you're not using stabilized woods and you're going into a more arid area, or if you perhaps are selling to individuals in areas that might be more arid, is to recommend that periodically oil your handles. Now, I know you can see the grain on that now. It's still got a polish to it, but now I have a much better grip because I've increased that surface area. Now, that's also the grain has raised because we've applied oil. The oil soaked in. Heat is a catalyst. It promotes that. This is wonderful. I mean, it's not the prettiest knife, but I'll tell you what, it's going to go to a home where someone will love it. All my knives do. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and they have all sold at some point, except 2. And those are the ones I'm trying to hold on to. All right, so I've over soaked that handle material right there. And the bloodwood it's not bad. Now, I want to show you guys the one downfall is I did get some dark spots on this. Don't feel too bad. What can I do? Well, here's a worn piece of 400 grit sandpaper. I think what I want to do is I'm just going to come in here and go over this just a little bit. So it'll scuff that surface some, but more than anything, I'm hoping to even out my coloration here. And I've improved the grip on it. Now it's still a relatively smooth handle, but I've also got I've got that deep reddish orange color. And I could have raised the grain more on this by adding more heat, but I really don't want to overheat it by any means. Now, a lot of times I will add many, many coats of oil depending upon the desired effect and a few other factors like how dry is the wood, what time of the year is it. I'm in central Illinois, unfortunately, and our winters can be pretty dry. I mean, to the point where it's almost like a drought condition. So there we go. Now, guys, I'm going to do this. I've got a forge behind me, and that's a safe place to have fire. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my oily rags here because you don't want those to potentially combust when and where they're not supposed to. Now, I have used teak oil. I've also used some lighter linseed oil at times. I've even used olive oil. But what seems to work well for me is using boiled linseed oil. So I'll be finishing these up shortly. These are both file steel blades, and they're all smudged up right now, but there you have that bloodwood handle. And the Purple Heart is a lot better at raising that grain, and you can just see all of the character, the imperfections, and so forth. Of course, I could sand this down some more, but that's not what I'm going for. So I've got a decent camp knife, something that you can do meal prep with. You could butcher game. You could, I suppose, you could baton through kindling. I never understood batoning through kindling. I guess if you don't have an axe, but I mean, like, there's tomahawks there I make. And then if we look over on this wall, let's keep going. Okay, so I make some tomahawks at times. What can I say? I like that stuff. Knife and tomahawk. So, guys, please like and subscribe. More fun stuff to come. We'll catch you in a few.